Welcome to IntelliHome Smart DIY, where we review smart home products, discuss home automation, organization solutions, as well as DIY projects. Today, we'll be talking about my final form, endgame, done with tinkering, home theater remote solution. Ever since Logitech left their customers out in the cold when they discontinued support for their Harmony line of remote controls back in October of 2021, I've been searching for a better solution to control my home theater. Harmony, especially the Harmony Elite, was affordable, highly customizable, and very user-friendly. It was able to integrate with almost any platform out there. While the Harmony remotes still work, functionality has been fading over time as Logitech no longer supports that product line. I've owned many universal home theater style remotes over the past 20 plus years, and this has been the best remote that I've owned. So I've been on the search for something that's customizable, easy to integrate, and most of all, reliable. I tried, like many other people did, this thing, the sofa baton, and I hate it. Not only is it very cheap feeling in the hand, the user interface both on the remote and in the app is subpar. It definitely feels like a prototype and not a finished product. The functionality is limited, but it can get the job done. For certain people, this could actually be a great remote control, but if you're coming from the Harmony, especially the Elite, and you're trying to replace it with the sofa baton, there's going to be a little bit of a letdown in the adjustment period. So you're probably thinking, hey, you're a smart home guy. You've got apps for everything. Why do you need a remote control? That seems a little old-fashioned. And I've tried things like the SwitchBot, which actually I've got uses for that elsewhere, and the Broadlink RM Pro, as well as the base model. And those have their place. However, the reliability and consistency was not there. And you know, when I'm sitting down in the theater to relax, to watch a movie, I want everything to just work like it did back with the Logitech. I've read countless threads on forums, etc., where people say you don't need a remote control anymore, right? Everything's got an app, everything works together, and you know, the time of programming 17 different devices in a remote control are dead, and that's kind of sort of true. But in a home theater environment, not only do you need to control multiple devices, right? So in your living room, you may just have a TV and a cable box, or a streaming device, maybe a sound bar. Nowadays, those things integrate pretty seamlessly with each other. But when you're talking about integrating lighting scenes and multiple inputs, amplifiers, and just different things that come with trying to set the mood in a home theater, you want a little bit more power. And then also, when you're in the theater in the relative dark, you don't want to be fumbling around. At least me personally, I don't want to be fumbling around with a screen or looking down. Having something with a combination of physical buttons and potentially a screen to give you a little bit of feedback of what's happening is really ideal for me. On the rest of my house, we've switched from the older generation Logitech remotes to using the Series Smart Remote. We've actually cut the cable, and really we use the Apple TV devices for everything, right? We actually have cable streaming through our Apple TV devices, as well as the various apps, you know, that you overpay for and, you know, don't actually save any money when you cut the cable. But to simplify the usage for the TVs everywhere else in the house, using the Siri remote that comes with the Apple TVs is actually pretty simple and effective, thanks to things like CEC, or the Consumer Electronic Control, which actually allows your TV to talk to your receiver, potentially your sound bar, and as well as your streaming device. So that allows you to actually use one remote control and to turn your television off and on, control your volume on an external device if needed, if it has ARC or the audio return channel. So modern technology has really closed the gap and minimized the need for a universal remote. However, in my theater, it didn't quite check all the boxes for me. And as I read a lot of threads, a lot of people in the home theater space, or just, you know, kind of TV or tech enthusiasts, they're looking for a little bit more control beyond what they have with the Siri remote control. So I got to thinking, what if the Siri remote control had a action button, kind of like the new iPhone actually has that customizable action button? Could I, with one or two additional buttons really fill the gap using home automations and macros to trigger events. And the solution I came up with actually pretty damn awesome. So I have this Siri remote control that has a spot on the back for a ear tag. And I started playing around with some flick switches I had laying around, and flick switch actually fits perfectly in that ear tag compartment of this remote control case. And after some tinkering and mapping out on paper, I realized with just adding that one button that has 3 different controls, if you're familiar with flick switches. If not, I'll post another video going a little bit more in depth on flick switches. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with flick switches, but nonetheless, they do the job. So I was able to add one more button to my Siri remote control that actually gave me 3 more controls. And through the power of automation, I was able to add multiple functions on top of each control. So let me walk you through what it's like to operate the home theater. So as you've probably seen in my previous video around my favorite automations, door contact sensors are phenomenal. And actually here in my theater, I have a door contact sensor that turns on the theater lights upon entry or whenever you open the door, as well as turn on the air freshener, but that's another story. So that's one control that's taken away from the remote, right? The lights are already on at 100% once you open the door and enter the theater. When you press the home button, it turns on the Apple TV. The Apple TV communicates to my Marantz AV7705 and turns that on, which in turn turns on my Epson projector as well as my Emotiva amplifier. So while it's not in the same fashion that I did with my Logitech Harmony, I'm still able to sit down and press one button and have everything turned on and ready to watch movies. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if I press the power button and turn off my Apple TV, that turns off my processor, which turns off the projector and turns off the amplifier. So you're probably thinking, well, why'd you add a button to the back? So there's more to the theater experience than just sitting down and turning on the devices. So pressing the flick once will set the Ecobee thermostat to 74 degrees because it's a little warmer on this side of the house. So when I'm watching a movie in here, I want to keep it a little bit cooler. It turns off the back row of lighting, and it sets the main accent lights to 18%, which I know it's a weird number, but it's kind of the perfect spot to have a nice dim light and still be able to kind of move around and see where you're going, but not be disruptive to the movie. If you want it completely dark, double-clicking the flick will actually turn off all of the lights. And if we're entertaining, maybe having a fight, and we don't want it so dark, pressing and holding will set the lights to 50%. So basically, the process would flow like this. You open the door, lights come on. Grab the remote, press one button, all the devices come on, press another button, and it sets your lighting as well as your climate control, and you kick back, relax, and watch a movie. Someone comes in to ask you a question or whatever the case is, or you get up and go out to the bathroom. When you open the door, it turns the lights on. When you come back, click a button, and you're back into your preferred lighting setting. When you're all done, press a button here and turn all the AV devices off, and then you can either turn it off from the remote or turn the lights off from a Pico right outside of the door. Future Tony here. So you're probably asking, well, how do you switch inputs if you want to play PlayStation? Well, the cool thing, my Marantz processor is smart enough to know that if I pick up and turn on my PlayStation remote, to switch the inputs. What's also pretty cool, when I turn off the PlayStation and do anything with the Apple TV, the input changes. So this has been an incredibly simple solution. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now and find it actually to be perfect. My wife and my son actually enjoy it. My wife was a little bit intimidated by the previous remotes. Because we have consistency, every TV all over the house uses the same setup with the slight addition of the flick button on the back. She's actually pretty excited to use it, and I'm able to actually get a little bit more family time in the theater, I hope. After over 2 years of tinkering with remote controls, I can go ahead and check this off the box and move on to the next project. There's plenty more going on around the house. Go ahead and comment down below and let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see or any questions about this particular project. Or let me know about your remote control setup or Logitech Harmony replacement plan. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.